Hey guys, it's YakMeR from the Reddit Rivals, and we are here to complete the introduction to the nature ancients that I currently have. I have not been lucky enough to roll and get any of the new daily campaign ancients, but I did get very lucky yesterday and got both Taliesin and Viscaria. Interesting fact for you guys, Viscaria is a family of flowers, and that's how I know how to pronounce the name correctly. So, looking at this ancient, level 13 due to the increased Primus cost now, and I have actually not used this ancient yet in a battle. I've just used Viscaria in as a dragon for raids because of the high HP and great damage over time. So let's take a look at the abilities. First ability is a AoE, additional poison damage for a duration. Probably works fairly well with the sweep over from the dragon skill, but not a whole lot of damage overall, especially for the length of time. Second ability is Poison Touch. For the rest of battle, affected units will cause additional damage each second for duration on the targets they tag. That is pretty awesome. Seems like a fairly substantial damage increase, especially since upgrading things like soldiers and wardens and whatnot only increases their damage by a very small point margin. And finally, the third skill, Expunge, purges poison from enemies, causing a large amount of damage and removing the poison. So we're going to go ahead and go forward here. And again, this is my first time ever using this ancient, so you'll have to forgive me if I make any huge mistakes or have a lack of full knowledge on how to use this guy. All right, so here's our first attack, and this is actually in the same streak from some of my other videos earlier today. Again, I'm really happy that I finally got Viscaria yesterday, and maybe it was a blessing from the game, seeing that I had no internet for a while, and I finally have some time to sit back down and make some more videos. So, looking at the base, fairly simple setup. Gonna go ahead and drop Viscaria, the dragon, at this portal here. Should be able to get the portal plus at least one of the other big buildings, which will rack up some time here so I can fly over. I do have enough mana now for the first ability. And just to get an idea of size, it can cover a pretty decent size of the base there. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and use one flyover here. Drop the poison on that same area. And a second flyover. And hopefully a third one here. And that should be doing some pretty good damage. Unfortunately, those guys are still alive, so I'm going to wait just a little bit longer here and get enough. There we go, last one. And that should take out all of that stuff in the middle before the dragon dies. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and just start here at the bottom and send in all of my troops. We're going to go ahead and use the second ability, giving everything additional damage, which actually is making a noticeable difference in the attack. The visual on them is not as easy to see as some of the others. Alright, and then we'll try throwing down the third skill over there, and that does a lot of damage. Okay, so that base is definitely wrecked. Okay, so this time facing a Stronghold 10, so we'll get an idea now of how it handles a little bit more difficult base. The thing that's great is we have these outlying buildings. So I can go ahead and drop Viscaria and start getting some more passovers from the time, which is really valuable with any of the dragons, whether it's 4 Veil for the freeze or the other 3 for their damage. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward a little bit here. Not really sure if the first skill from the Ancient is worth it because that poison damage just does not seem like a whole lot. But we'll go ahead and give it another try. So there's the flyover. Gonna go ahead and stay over here until I get 2 racked up, which should be in just a second. Gonna go ahead and finish killing that building though. There we go. Alright, so gonna go ahead and fly over some of these buildings where more of the defenses are. And we'll get one more here. And then gonna probably lose the dragon. Alright, so we're gonna go ahead and send troops from the bottom. The Maulers are gonna probably shift over to the left there since there's not a defensive building, but I'm gonna go ahead and drop the Wardens at the bottom here to take out that portal, which is gonna give me some mana, and I should be taking out these things pretty quick. Yeah, they're frozen, but we're still doing okay healing wise. Alright, gonna go ahead and buff these guys up. Increase damage for a little bit of time here. And they're eating through things pretty well here. And I'm going to just go ahead and save the mana and use the 3rd skill. And yeah, that just does a lot of damage. And we have enough to do it again. So, okay, it doesn't want to cast here. Interesting. Maybe that's a bug, or maybe because there's not poison. So let me know what just happened there, guys. Huh. Maybe it was because there's no poison on those. Alright, so there we go. Thanks, guys. Alright, guys, so wrapping things up here. Viscaria, definitely awesome as a dragon. As an ancient, kind of up in the air. We have some great ancients available, so he's kind of fun to play with. I definitely have a lot to learn still. But just reviewing some of his skills. The Toxic Nova, it's okay. Definitely not super great on its own, but I did realize after looking over the replays and that second attack that a building must have poison on it in order to be expunged. So in the first replay, you'll notice that that some of the buildings were damaged by expunge and some were not. And then in my second attack, you notice that I couldn't even select a certain area because none of them had a poison applied. So I was curious before using this hero if a building did have to have that poison on it first, or if it would just take damage and not remove it. So now you know the answer to that. Hopefully you won't make the same mistake as me. The second ability, Poison Touch, definitely great, and it does apply temporary poison on the buildings, so it works well with the expunge as well. Just be careful about using this ancient if the defense has a lot of death towers, or if you're taking lots of damage on your troops. You're probably going to want to use something that has a little bit more of a defensive ability if you're not able to take out enough of the buildings before throwing out your troops. So there you go. Looking forward, we will take a look starting with the Fire Ancients in the next video. Lots of them. I've definitely had some experience with each one to some degree. So we'll take a look at their viability and some of their skills. And as always, guys, thanks so much for watching. Please let me know if there's any other info you'd like to add. And otherwise, I will see you later.